B pool, that means that they open up against Austria. That is their first game in the Olympics, and that's what Dave King, or at least Dave Peterson, is gearing it towards. And I seriously believe, Mike, that a medal could very easily be lost in the first 72 hours of the Olympics by either USA or Canada. The first game is against Austria. The second game is against Czechoslovakia. You can see the other teams in that pool. USSR is in there as well. We should probably point out that these pools were arrived at as a result of the finishes that these teams achieved in the World Championships in Vienna last year. And this particular group is comprised of the teams that finished second, third, and sixth. That's USSR, Czechoslovakia, and the United States. Here's a list of their games.
Well, it's going to be a big game when you look at the schedule. Austria, obviously a very big game. And if things go the way everybody kind of expects them to go, the Czechs are supposed to win. USSR, Soviets are supposed to win. Norway, U.S. should win, and then it becomes a big game against West Germany. That is going to be, unless they can steal one from the Soviets or the Czechs, that's the game they're really gearing towards.
Yeah, I agree. If we were going to compare the levels of play of a couple of teams in the B pool, West and Team USA might be close, and something that a lot of people might want to consider is that Austria has a lot of Canadian players that have become Austrian citizens on that team, so they're a pretty strong hockey team as well.
Well, you know, you look at the Canadians bracket, another interesting bracket, they're being in the A pool, Canada, Poland, Switzerland, France, Finland, and Sweden. France, that's an interesting country to have a hockey team.
Well, their pool looks a little easier, but believe it or not, Sweden won the World Championships. That's why they are in there, and it's 4th place and 5th place that are in there. Canada finished 4th, Finland finished 5th, and thus the mix in the A pool. A lot of people think that Canada are going to have it a little easier, but 3 teams from each of these pools make it into the final round, but you're only allowed to take the points into the final round that you have scored against the other 2 teams that make it into the final round with you out of your pool. So it's conceivable to get to the final round and not have any points.
Well, it's going to be interesting. New format. First time they've allowed 6 teams into the final medal rounds. Normally it's been 4. So good chance for the United States and a good chance for Sweden, or Canada rather, to move up into that medal round. Let's go upstairs now to Al Michaels.
Kind of funny, Mike, as you well know. I'm sure people who've watched the team Thursday night and today only say, hey, what's wrong with the U.S.? But it's kind of funny the way teams get ready for the Olympics. Keep in mind, in 1980, in their final game before the Olympics started at Lake Placid, that U.S. team, the Miracle team of 1980, lost to the Soviet Union 10-3 at Madison Square Garden. So they went in on a real downer. In 1984, the team looked very good through the month of January and in playing some exhibition games in Europe in early February. Everybody felt they were ready for the Olympics in '84, and of course the United States wound up finishing 7th. So you really go through a complete roller coaster in a long pre-Olympic schedule. Right now, through 2 periods at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Canada leads Team USA by a score. In a recap of period 2.
Take it to the United States.
Well, they really put the clamps down, but a big part of their game has been the transition. They've turned it up ice very well, Mike, and we'll pick up play here with the play moving out of Canada's zone. But watch the defensive play that Brian Leetch makes backing up. He'll go down right there. See number 2? He is capable of making a mistake, and as a result, Wally Schreiber has a good chance to get in on Chris Terreri, but Terreri really held his ground well. Now Brian Leetch, trying to make up for that defensive error, comes back, just about splits the Canadian defenseman, but you can see once Brian Leetch gets a step on you, you have to hook, bite, pinch, pull him, anything you can to get him down. And you know, the interesting thing is that right after that play, Brian Leetch got up from his rear end and actually beat all kinds of people back out of the zone. He anticipates very well. He's very quick as well.
Well, at the time, the score was still Team Canada 1, Team USA nothing. And then Wally Schreiber, a very talented, great skater, he made a pretty move on Chris Terreri.
Yeah, he sure did. He knows his way around the offensive part of the ice. He's one of Dave King's small forwards, but the lead pass here was outstanding to send him away. It was Craig Redmond that sent him away. And Chris Terreri really didn't have much to do except to wait to see which way Wally Schreiber was going to go. Schreiber just came in and gave him one little right and then back to the left. See that space right between those Winlight pads, and that made it 2-0 for Team Canada.
Well, it's interesting to me, Bill, that when it became 2-0, then it was a goal scored, made it 3-0. Then the 4th goal that was scored by Team Canada went between Terreri's legs again. So I'm wondering, after the goal was scored, if Schreiber goes back and says, look, he's leaving that opening between his legs. Although the 3rd goal, it seemed like he just kind of misplayed the angle a little.
Yeah, perhaps he did. It's difficult to say. It's such an area that's difficult to protect right between the legs. There's a look at him on Kenny Yaremchuk's goal, and you could see it's difficult to tell whether he was leaning just before the shot, but there's no question that Yaremchuk had some room on the other side. Here's a look at Ken Barry's goal. This made it 4-0. Barry moving in. That's a pretty good area to shoot from, too. That made it 4-0 Team Canada, and that's where it stands right now.
Well, kind of a backbreaker there, but we'll see. After 2 periods, 4-0. Let's go back upstairs now to Al Michaels.
Okay, Mike, in this third period will be brought to you by Ice Blue Aqua Velva. Its cool and refreshing formula makes your face feel great after shaving. And the rugged, honest scent says there's something about today's Aqua Velva man. By Sure Antiperspirant. Get Sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness. And by Dodge Cars and Trucks. For performance on, road, and off, it's gotta be a Dodge. Joe Louis Arena in Detroit on this Saturday afternoon. A month before the Olympics, Team Canada in red leading the United States by a score of 4-0. Trent Yorney collects the puck for Canada. He gets checked by Stevens, and Donatelli works it over to Snuggerud, who tries to sneak it in from behind and can't. To the near side it comes, and it's Bradley getting it up ahead to Boisvert. He shoots it into the U.S. end. Bradley tried to shovel it back to Boisvert, but the Americans are able to clear the zone and take it to center ice with Donatelli having it poked away by Yorney. And now shot toward the Canadian blue line and onto the stick of Felix, and his slap shot is wide of the net. Berry trying to keep the puck in and can't. And back comes the U.S. now with Steve Leach ridden out of the play by Zarli Zalapski. Felix now gets checked behind the net. Puck is loose. Leach trying to get it in front, and no goal as Sean Burke is able to cover up before it crossed the line. The Americans about ready to begin to celebrate, but it was Burke backing up and holding on, and the light never came on. Let's take another look right now. As from behind the net, it's Leach initially trying to stuff it in, and then on the rebound, it comes back out again. And take a look at Burke. Somehow, some way, not even knowing where the puck is at this point, he appears to have carried the puck over the goal line. But that was never the call, and the official was right there with a good close-up look. And yet another save for Burke, his 31st of the game. Canada on top 4-0. Up to center ice it comes. Mike, you're down there behind the net. What did you see?
Al, you talk about baseball being a matter of inches. That puck was less than inches as far as crossing the line, and it was just kind of sitting there, and Sean Burke fell down and sat back on the puck and kind of pulled it out a little, but it was a quarter of an inch from going in.
Still 4-0. Shutout intact for Burke. And out, and a slap shot by Redmond from in front scores. Craig Redmond.
Well, you can learn from your mistakes, and I guess that's one thing that's positive about getting into a situation where you looks like you're going to lose a hockey game. Dave Peterson can learn from the mistakes, but the one thing Team USA wants to avoid here, and that was a deflection. That was a tough play for Terreri. It went off either Leach, number 2, or the man that he was trying to move out of the way in front. There it is. It's a deflection. But at this stage, Team USA wants to avoid caving in. You know, they can't allow any major setbacks to their psyche right now, their confidence. They have to maintain and stay in there and hang in, and they have to believe in themselves.
Janney saved by Burke with 17:49 remaining in the game. Canada stretches its advantage to 5-zip.
Fancy perfumey aftershave.
5-0 Canada. This is the 53rd game on the pre-Olympic schedule for Team USA. They have yet to be shut out. Redmond scoring that last goal. Shervin and Habshide got the assists. It came at 153. And another thing we have to begin to think about at this point, Bill, is who's going to be the goalie Monday night. As Dave Peterson said, whoever plays the best game between the Thursday game and the Saturday game, well, it's about even right now.
I would have to agree with that. 5 by Terreri tonight, 6 by Richter in Bloomington on Thursday night. So.
And Janney shot saved by Burke.
You know, another thing, Al, is when you lose hockey games and you don't play well, it makes decisions even tougher. And Dave Peterson doesn't need any complications in his decision-making process right now.
Zalapsky getting into it with Jones.
There's the man that's backing up Chris Terreri tonight. That is John Blue, and he was designated a number of months ago as the number 3 man. Dave Peterson told him that he probably wouldn't see much action, but when either Richter or Terreri sits out, John Blue out of the University of Minnesota suits up and backs up. He's originally out of El Toro, California. He skates as a forward in the summer. You know, he's taken some pretty big hits at some of Doug Woog's recruits up there in Minnesota.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, Al, you know, it's funny, before the game, I asked Dave Peterson, well, what happens if Chris Terreri doesn't play well tonight? He says, well, who knows? Maybe John Blue will play Monday. So the advantage of having 3 goaltenders, you never know what's going to happen.
You know, John Blue was given the option of leaving the team or staying with the team, and he said, are you kidding? Who knows? Somebody might get injured. And within a matter of a couple of shots here and there, John Blue could find himself between the pipes for the United States in the Olympics. So he's come this far. He's elected to stay with the team.
To serve, delay a game. How many times are you going to go over there? 6, 7 times a game? No, you haven't. I warned it. You took way too long to get over there. Would you put someone in the box? Check the stick. I don't care. Put someone in the box. Put someone in the box right now. Get it in. Oh, yeah, that's going to even it up. Right.
So a delay of game penalty. Brent Rutherford is the referee.
He was telling the Canadian player enough is enough. Apparently, Team Canada's been stalling long enough tonight for the taste of referee Rutherford, so he's given him a delay of game penalty.
So Brian Bradley will save it. And Norton's shot is saved by Burke, and that's number 34 for him. By the way, it's easy to fall into the trap of saying tonight, even though it's daytime. So you are watching live. It is about 4:15 Eastern time.
Here's Jeff Norton letting one go. It had a Phil Niekro effect to it. It was knuckling its way all the way into Burke.
One of the reasons the Canadian team might have been taking as much time as possible is because they are so short-handed. They only have 3 lines. They're missing a number of players, and so it behooves them to get as much rest as they can.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't play last night. It was a travel day, so it's not a real crucial situation, Al. Most players would rather play every 3rd time out. Forwards, most defense would rather play every 2nd time out. So as the game wears on, it becomes a problem, possibly, depending on how tough the game has been. But Dave King just wants to make sure everybody is fresh, and he stretches it to the limit. He's a good coach.
U.S. with a man advantage here for the next 131. Donatelli is out there with Stevens, and Canada able to clear it. So the U.S. with a man advantage, going with Brown, Snuggerud, Donatelli, Stevens, and Norton. Brown losing the puck at center ice, but regaining possession, moving it up ahead to Stevens. To Snuggerud. Snuggerud tried to work it back to Stevens, and the play momentarily broken up by Duggan, but it comes back to Snuggerud at the point, taken off his stick and cleared all the way down the ice. But Terreri comes out of the net to help Gosselin, and then Gosselin's pass is too long, and Canada comes back the other way. 40 seconds left in the penalty. 15:45 left in the game. Canada on top 5-0. 30 seconds now left in the penalty as the Canadians take control again. And Serge Roy sends it all the way down the ice, and the U.S. perhaps with one more rush, and that'll do it. 15 seconds left in the penalty. Gosselin. Too far for Bourbeau. And a face-off. So now only 8 seconds remaining. But Dave Peterson wasn't too upset the other night. He felt he saw enough things to be encouraged, but I'm not so sure that tomorrow is going to be a particularly thrilling day for the U.S. coach when he thinks about this one.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. You know, it's one thing if the effort is there, but one thing Team Canada has had tonight that Team USA has not. They've been very tenacious. They've been there all the time. They've always been tugging on someone. They've played a very aggressive game, not only trying to hit Team USA, although I still think Team USA has out-hit Team Canada. They played a very determined hockey game tonight, and that's something that Dave Peterson has to have his guys doing as well. Have to be determined every time out of the door.
Team skating at equal strength. And the puck is lifted over the glass with 14:51 remaining in the game. 5-0, Canada.
LensCrafters has a better way to make your glasses. Our laboratories are right here in the store, so we can custom grind your exact prescription in about 1 hour. Listen.
We had them faster and didn't have to wait.
The shortest time and the best pair I've ever owned. Eyeglasses within an hour and very good quality.
Got them in an hour.
Go in and get a good pair of glasses in an hour.
LensCrafters, quality eyeglasses in about an hour. 7 D.C. area locations, including Landover Mall, Potomac Mills, and Wheaton Plaza. Call ADS 1001 for the store near you.
Canada in control of the puck. Team skating at equal strength with 14 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. Canada on top by a score of 5-0. Chris Felix, number 23. Shooting it into the corner. Guy Gosselin shoots it up along the boards to Jim Johansson. And his pass is taken away by Felix, who delivers it to Bradley. And it's Bradley taking it in over the blue line. Broken up by the American team as Leach shovels it ahead for Jones. Over to Janney. Janney to Shorsky. Shorsky checked into the boards by Yoni in the corner. And Canada able to clear it back out. Nice pass from Schreiber to Bradley, who skates all the way in, stops, and then has the shot deflected over the glass. Canada very quick on the transition there.
Very quick on the transition, but you know, Brian Leach is just about equal to the task every time. When they came in on a 2-on-1 situation, then it became a 2-on-2, and it was only because Leach stopped in front with his check that it wasn't a good pass back over to Shervin from Bradley. Here comes Bradley. He doesn't think he's got enough room to cut in. I'm not sure why, but he stops, and there's Leach on the left of your screen doing a pretty good job on Gordy Shervin, who was on Schreiber, I believe it was, number 7, cutting in.
13:49 remaining. 5-0 Canada. Stevens shovels it back into Weinrich. And it's Weinrich circling around, getting it over to Young. Young takes it into the Canadian zone, and another save by Burke. Sean Burke, what a day. 37 saves and still has the shutout going.
Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. A fresh look at today's problems. Buy your copy at Walden Books.
Here's a look at the 37th save that Sean Burke has made. It's off the stick of Scott Young. Here's a Drydenism right here, Al. Watch this. How many times did you used to see Ken Dryden choke up on that stick, or he's moved down to the knob, reach out, and pull it back towards him? That's the way he protected a lot of the rebounds that he left.
I think we've given Dryden enough pub for the day. What do you think?
That means he has to pick up the check next time they're with him?
Yeah, right. We're going to shame him into it. He's listening. Oh, yeah, we hear you, Ken. Believe me. Canada on top, 5-0. As the Canadian team takes it into the U.S. zone. Waugh gets it back. And then his centering pass finds nobody in the slot. Kept in from the point, but taken by Weinrich, who is skating minus his helmet. And Team Canada regroups as Waugh loses the puck, but it's Duggan, who joined the team the other night in Minnesota. Terreri leaves it now behind the U.S. net for Young. He starts the rush up ice and then dumps it around the boards as the Americans change on the fly. Lane McDonald skating in, and McDonald out in front can't get the shot off. He gets checked. It winds up on the stick of Bourbeau, and the net winds up coming off its support, creating the stoppage here with 12 minutes and 18 seconds to play.
Wayne McDonald is on the bottom looking up. Here's the chance by McDonald cutting in. He uses that left leg to give himself a little more room to hop in front. Gee, he just wasn't able to get that shot away. Al hopped over his stick just when he wanted to fire it.
And the U.S. still blank at this point. 12-18 to play. Canada on top by a score of 5-0. The announced crowd today is 14,134. From the face-off, Leach wide. McDonald losing it. Parfin clears the zone. And Norton back to get it for Team USA. Over to Brown. Return pass into Norton. And his centering attempt is blocked by Vilgray, who gets it up ahead to Yaremchuk. Now Steve Leach again for the U.S. Number 28, spent part of last season with the Washington Capitals, and a good part with their Binghamton Farm Club. Shot by Bourbeau, and another save. Brown able to keep it in. And the bouncing puck is gloved by Sean Burke. So a busy day and a very fruitful day for Burke, who has just made his 40th save, and we'll be back after this message.
I don't want to be hired from what I did before. I want to be hired because I'm good now, and I deserve to get hired and do the job and do it well. Not, you know, the little ingenue that was once Little Orphan Annie. One way to prove yourself, I mean, that you're worthy of it, is you have to come through with the goods when they ask for them on the spot.
Joe Louis Arena in Detroit is the site on this Saturday afternoon. 5-0. Team Canada leading Team USA. They scored once in the first period, 3 times in the second, and once here in the third. And Schreiber gets taken down as he moves the puck into the U.S. end. And as they scrap for it, it's tied up along the boards, and we'll have a face-off out in front of Chris Terreri, who has 22 saves today for the United States, but he's let 5 by, and it's 5-0.
There's one of the players with some NHL experience. That was Serge Boisvert of Team Canada. Here are the Team USA players with NHL experience. Brad Jones at the bottom, 4 games, one of which included a broken jaw while he was sitting on the bench, as you mentioned earlier. Saw David Poyle, Steve Leach's general manager, with the Washington Capitals just a couple of minutes ago when I was running down to join Mike Eruzione. He has Chris Felix playing for Team Canada and Steve Leach playing for Team USA, so he's taking a look at his boys.
Tony Granato. And the sliding puck through the crease is sent off to the near boards by Sean Burke and all the way down to the U.S. end, where Leach collects it. Ryan, who stops on a dime, moves it up ahead for Granato, and he drops it back for Corey Millen. Millen circling and shooting wide. And it comes out to the point, and Canada clearing it with half side, moving it up ahead. Center ice, Serge Waugh. This is Duggan. And a two-line pass offside. And a face-off. Let's take a look at some of the experience garnered by those on Team Canada.
Randy Gregg also with Edmonton in this lineup, and all they have 4 players that have at one time or another belonged to the Edmonton Oilers. Here are the last 2. You know, when Mike and I were talking about the different pools, Al, I don't think we finished it off by saying that once the 6 teams make it into the medal round, they only play the 3 teams that are coming in from the other pool. They don't play any of the teams that are out of their own pool. So what that means is Team USA has to play the Soviet Union in the preliminary round, but if they make it to the final round, they won't have to play them. And I mentioned earlier in the game that Team USA was probably encouraged by the fact that Canada won the Izvestia.
And moving in is Berry, who almost got a little sheepy there, but it wasn't to be. In on the right wing, and another save as Chorsky had a good opportunity for the United States and couldn't cash in, and now Jones gets into it.
But 2 more outstanding saves. He hasn't looked rattled at all. It's the poise, I think, is what's impressed me the most about Sean Burke. He has been in control of virtually every situation we've seen him in tonight, and we've seen about 40-some situations now that he's faced concerning shots.
We had a penalty-marred first period, a cooler second period, and here you've got Duggan and Jones, who will both be sent off.
Every offensive play that Team USA has been able to put together that's resulted in a scoring chance. This one by Tom Chorsky. Big Sean Burke has been right there. Even when he has left his own rebounds, he recovers well, doesn't he, Al, for the second shot. He goes down on the first one. It hits him. And he's down on one leg, but he is up. Has not lost his position and is completely ready to face the second shot.
And you can truly see why he was the main man for them in Moscow, and they credit him with almost single-handedly winning that Izvestia tournament. They're going to send Duggan and Jones both to the penalty box, so they'll skate 4 against 4 for the next 4 minutes, as it turns out. Double minors for roughing.
I was about to say, before Chorsky got his break, talking about the different pools, while it's encouraging for Team USA to see that Canada was able to defeat the world powers at the Izvestia, all Team Canada did for Team USA is wound the bear. I mean, the Soviets lost over there, so they're going to come into the Olympics under a lot of criticism within their own hockey program and really anxious to beat up on people in the Olympics. And Canada doesn't have to face them until the medal round, so they both make it into the medal round.
Burke with a save. Zalapsky and Snuggerud scrapping court. Felix now. He gets it up to head to Vilgrave. Into Yaremchuk. He skates all the way in and can't get the shot away, but sends it back to Vilgrave, and the save is made by Ferreri. Let's go! Donatelli gets knocked down as Weinrich comes back for the U.S. He sends it up ahead to Young. And it comes back out over the blue line, so the U.S. will have to regroup. Vilgrave picks up the loose puck. His shot is deflected wide and comes back out to center ice. 9 minutes to play. Team Canada leading by a score of 5-0 and another fight.
You bet. It's Kenny Yaremchuk from Canada and Clark Donatelli from Team USA. Now everybody's pairing up. Whoop, we have a real big one going over to the side. They're even punching on the ice. I think it's Trent Yanni from Team Canada. Yeah, that's Yanni. And that's Dave Snuggerud out of the University of Minnesota, who wears number 22 when it's on his back.
I tell you, the linesmen have taken a pretty good beating here, too.
Yeah.
Little doubt who got the better of that scrap.
Well, once you get the jersey up, you can't see what you're doing, and nor can you punch. Your arms are tied up. And Trent Yanni, you know, Dave Snuggerud has played college hockey. Trent Yanni's a little older, a little wiser, a little more experienced, and a little bigger than Dave Snuggerud. So he got the jump on him, and it was downhill from there.
So the third period stacking up much as the first period did. And we'll be back with 8:58 to play.
Kmart knows that saving, say, 10 cents on a sink stopper isn't going to change your life. But add that 10 cents to the $15 you might save on a Garcia casting reel, to the $40 you might save on a Stanley garage door opener, to the $80 you might save on that Smith Corona typewriter, to the time you saved by coming here first. And then you know why more people shop at Kmart than any other store.
America's favorite store.
Kmart, the saving place.
Well, everybody seems to have their respective jerseys back on, including the linesmen and the referees. There's Ken Yaremchuk. He was actually the guy that was originally pursued that started this thing. It was Clark Donatelli was facing Yaremchuk. They were looking at each other, probably asking each other if they wanted to have a go, and it was Donatelli that finally just said, I'm not going to talk anymore. Made up my mind, I want to go. And after that, Dave Snuggerud, there he is, number 22, squared off with big Trent Yanni from Team Canada.
And paid the price.
No, it's just those numbers are running. It's the color in the 22 that's running.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cheap laundromat. Jones is off, and remember now, you already had the double minors assessed to both Duggan and Jones with 3:10 remaining on those.
5-minute major for fighting in a game. 17 white. 5-minute major in a game.
That's Donatelli.
13, he's got 4 minutes roughing.
Yaremchuk.
That's red. And 22, he's got 4 minutes roughing.
Snuggerud. So they'll even out.
No. Yeah, he's gone. You don't put the majors up because they're offsetting.
2 5s, 2 game penalties, and a pair of double minors.
You know, the rules have changed a lot over the last few years, and to be honest with you, I don't know if we're playing this game under the International Ice Hockey Federation rules or the International Olympic Committee, because I was under the impression that if it was the International Olympic Committee, that if you fought during one of the games, you were gone. And that would lead me to believe that we're under the IIHF rules for this game. Subtle differences, but this might be one of them right here.
Your guy was the aggressor. That's why. Same one over there. Let's go.
It's the instigation rule to which Dave Peterson referred earlier in his discussion with Mike Eruzione.
And that leaves Serge Boisvert, number 12, 0-2 in the debate department tonight with referee Rutherford. That's the second time we've heard him debating, only to have referee Rutherford say, sorry.
3-on-3 we are. Hey, move that puck around now. Move that puck around. Let's see if we can get one.
Dave looks pretty placid, all things considered, at this point.
No, he doesn't rattle very, very easily. Not at all. I asked him the other day if it was getting long for him, if it was dragging. He said, are you kidding? So I'd be home shoveling snow if I wasn't sitting in a plane going somewhere. Here's a look at the B pool again. These are the teams in the B pool. USA will play each one of them once, beginning with Austria. You know why Dave Peterson is gearing up for Austria. He has to play Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union after that. If they drop the first one, it's a big problem. There's Canada's pool.
And play finally resumes here, and the teams will skate 3 against 3. So a lot of open ice for the next 3 minutes. Leach for Team USA. Brian Leach to Gosselin. He skates in, and another save by Sean Burke. Now Boisvert moving it up ahead to Roy. Surge in over the blue line. And his shot is knocked down in front and comes back to Corey Millen. Millen setting it up for Leach. Gosselin is the other U.S. skater out there at the moment. There's Zalapsky, Schreiber, and Redmond skating for Canada. And it's Schreiber who intercepts but can't do anything with it. And now Millen skates in. Corey trying to drop it back for Norton, who's come out on the ice, but it comes back to center ice. 7:45 left in the game as Zalapsky tries to split the defense. And Norton comes up with the puck for the USA. Now Bourbeau. And another save by Burke. And Zalapsky is able to clear it from danger, but Bourbeau keeps it in. Opposite side to Norton. And off the skate of Schreiber. Zalapsky going down along with Bourbeau, and Bourbeau tried to hand pass it out in front. And we have a whistle.
It was a nice pass, though.
Yeah,
right onto Norton's tape.
Not bad. If you're in an arcade playing one of those bowling games where you slide that baby down, it would be perfect.
Well, there's the man that is really going to be the focus of Team Canada's attempt to earn a medal in their own country in Calgary coming up 1 month from today. Sean Burke. Take a look at those shots. 45 Team USA has had on Sean Burke. Still a big goose egg up on the scoreboard, though. He's really been impressive. It's this is the first time I've really had a chance to see him play live without watching a highlight package, and I, for one, am thoroughly impressed. He is in charge.
Property of the New Jersey Devils, as is the case with Terreri. Both Terreri and Burke, the two goalies today, belong to New Jersey. Their NHL rights belong to New Jersey. From the faceoff, Sergeois to Habshai. He has to stop and regroup. Back to Waugh. 1:15 remaining in the initial coincidental penalty. And breaking free and coming in and a shot, another save. As the U.S. has its best opportunity of the third period. Scott Young unable to cash in.
You know, Habshai did a great job of catching him. I was sure Young was going to be in completely all alone. Habshai came from about 20 feet back to close the gap and to really force Scott Young to shoot from right there. It made it just a little easier for Sean Burke to make the save.
This is Weinrich for Granato. His shot off the screen is save number 47 for Sean Burke. Now Habshai for Bradley. And Bradley has it taken away by Weinrich. Nice pass up ahead to Lane McDonald. McDonald skating in with Brian Leach. And both strap to the puck and lose the puck. And it's Bradley coming back the other way along with Redmond. Poked away by Young, and we've got an offside with 5:56 to play. Peterson looking up at the clock. 8 seconds until we see the
Jones go in, and then you and Allen come back.
We see the reemergence of Jones.
Here's that chance by Scott Young. He's got some great extension. You know, we wondered about his feet. Dave Peterson was saying shoot low. I'm not sure he has a weakness, Al.
Not today.
That's for sure. I have talked to people that have seen him play, and obviously he's typical in the sense that, sure, periodically he lets in a bad goal or what goalies call a weak goal, but he certainly hasn't today.
2-on-1, and the U.S. finally gets on the board as Janney puts it in on a pass from Brown. So the two BC Eagles, Brown and Janney, combined for a score.
Well, Team USA able to save a little face. What a fake by Greg Brown. Watch him do a little wind-up here like he's going to shoot. There it is. Sorry, I'm going to pass. And the entire world thinks he's going to pass. But, you know, Sean Burke at this point is zeroing in on Greg Brown. He has to rely on his defenseman. There you can see number 3, Serge Roy. He's trying to get back to take Janney. And Burke has to make a decision. Am I going to leave the pass to Serge Roy and go for the shooter? Or am I going to try and cut the pass? He decided to go for the shot. Greg Brown made a great fake. Team USA closes, but not quite close enough. We're down to 5 minutes to play, and they're down by 4 goals.
And we're down to 4 against 4 now. For the next 33 seconds, Burke makes the save and clears it all the way out. Too far for Vilgray. And Terreri couldn't clear the puck. Vilgray picks it up, and then Terreri has to go back and is fortunate to make the save. Norton for the U.S. Shot in behind the net. Norton attempting to center it, but the U.S. changing lines. Nobody was there, and a penalty is coming up on Norton. Penalty coming up on Norton. Bilgrave skates all the way in, slides it through the crease, and as soon as the touch is made here, we'll get the whistle and the penalty. And so Team Canada will have a man advantage here, as Norton will be sent off for 2 minutes, and we'll be right back after this message. For roughing. So Canada with a chance to score again, leading 5-1. Terreri clearing it all the way out to Steve Leach. And the U.S. trying to take some time off the clock as Weinrich moves it up ahead now. Felix is checked by Leach. And Snuggerud is able to send it back down into the Team Canada zone. Felix moves it up ahead for Habscheid. Shervin now to Habscheid, and Berry couldn't get his shot away. Kicked out by Weinrich, who takes a shot at, or a swipe at Habscheid, but no whistle. And Young able to clear it down the ice.
It's been a frustrating day for a lot of the Team USA defensemen, including Eric Weinrich. Imagine Eric at this stage is saying, well, if a couple of the guys are fighting, I might at least get a swipe in there at somebody.
And icing is the call here. 46 seconds remaining in the penalty to Norton. 3:42 left in the game. And another reminder, 1-800-331-2000 to help support amateur hockey in the United States. Funds for the Amateur Hockey Association of the United States. And contributions of $25 or more will net you a beautiful official U.S. hockey team pin for Calgary 88.
I saw the equipment work being done, and as the camera widened, there were the stripes. And there's the linesman that is doubling as an equipment person here for Sean Burke of Team Canada. All-purpose kind of guy.
Yeah. Those two linesmen have earned their pay today, especially on that last altercation. On February well, today is January the 16th. On February the 8th, it will be Sweden against the United States on the Freedom Sports Network at 8:30 Eastern Time from Denver, Colorado. One more telecast prior to the beginning of the Olympics. 3.5 minutes to play. Terreri sending it up along the boards to Corey Millen. 22 seconds left in the Team Canada power play. And time for one more rush as Bradley comes in over the blue line. It's knocked down by Gosselin, but Bradley regains possession. Swings it into the corner. Back out to Zalewski. The penalty is over. The teams are skating at equal strength now. Bilgray is looming out in front of the net, but they can't get it to him, and it's Norton who takes the puck across the center line and into Team Canada's end, but it's shot back in again to the neutral zone, and now it's Weinrich starting in over the blue line. Back pass to Janney. He can't get his shot off, but regains possession of the puck. And then it's shot in by Jones and saved by Burke. 2:22 left in the game, 5-1. Remaining in the game, teams skating at equal strength. Canada on top by a score of 5-1. Janney tried to slide it for Jones, and it was broken up. And it's Felix now. Boisvert to Schreiber. He is ridden out of the play. And Janney moves it up ahead for Young. His pass for Jones is intercepted, and Zalewski shoots it up into the third row.
Well, it will be interesting to see how Dave Peterson assesses this confrontation with Team Canada. Now, I mentioned earlier, you learn from your mistakes and you learn from your losses, and that's something that, unless you're the best in the world and know you're the best in the world, it's not healthy to win every hockey game when you're playing against inferior competition, and that's something that Dave Peterson had a lot of because the schedule involves so many games against the U.S. colleges. But there will be plenty to learn from this game tonight, and the one this afternoon at least, and the one in Minneapolis.
And the two teams will face each other again on Monday. We have a penalty coming up here. On Monday, they'll move to Toronto and face each other at Maple Leaf Gardens. Gord Shervin will spend the next 2 minutes or the rest of the game unless the U.S. winds up scoring here in the penalty box. Gord, who had a big night in Minnesota at the Met Center on Thursday in Canada's 6-4 victory. Goes off for slashing. So a ton of penalties in this one today. Pretty calm and relatively placid second period, but a raucous first and a wild third.
You know, I think the more teams become familiar with one another, the greater the chance of feuds developing between certain players. And these guys have seen one another quite a bit over the last 6 months, and they've seen each other before they even arrived in their respective teams, a lot of them. So it's bound to build.
And especially when you play a few games in a row, you'll know you got a chance the next time out to get even or whatever.
Yeah.
And today's game has produced 80 minutes in penalties, which is a lot for international hockey. Felix shooting it around the boards and all the way down the ice. And Terreri comes out to help Young get things started more efficiently and quickly, but Coronado is offside with 54 seconds to play.
More team defense, you think, to work on? I'm sure that's what Dave Peterson is going to be concentrating on. It was the thing that was a problem in Bloomington, and the breakdowns have cost them here. And you know, Team Canada, Al, is a few years older, and playing defensive hockey is the most subtle aspect of the craft, and it's the part of the game which takes a while for kids to learn. I really believe that is the major difference between these two hockey teams. Many similarities, but the big difference is Team Canada's average age is about 3 or 4 years older than Team USA's. That's 3 or 4 years of hockey to learn how to play collective defense a little better.
Janney, and the shot is partially deflected wide off the stick of Leach. And it's Terreri who comes out with 15 seconds. Meanwhile, Burke, what a day for Sean Burke as he leaves it for Waugh. Burke with 50 saves today, 5-0. Crowd counts it down, and this one ends with Team Canada dominating. So Canada now winning Thursday 6-4, today 5-1, and in the 7 games between these two teams, and Dave King can afford to smile after this one today, Canada has won 4, the U.S. 2, and 1 game wound up in a tie.
And while these two teams will be facing each other a few more times before the Olympics, and it's a little premature to start thinking about a sweep for Team Canada, and there's a pretty impressive win tonight, especially with Sean Burke. There he is. As you mentioned, stopping 50 shots. However, Team USA has to win a couple of these hockey games, at least one of these hockey games of the remaining 3.
I agree with you. I think it's very important, especially after the rout today and this performance by Sean Burke in Detroit. So it's over, and we'll be back with our players of the game when we come back.